if we are back, I think we've all figured out the cause of the connection loss is clearly talking about, I won't say the word, but it starts with an I. We're back. All right, I guess I can turn the music back on. Ice, the food group that starts with I. Please hold all ice from any of my drinks. Yeah. Ice can be nasty stuff. It waits until you really tilt the glass back, and then all the ice comes and gets you and crashes into your nose. Love fine art collage, one of my favorite mediums. Yeah, collage is fun. I think I have a little bit of collage on Pinterest. I did some collage a couple years ago when I was taking a design course at the School of Visual Concepts. All right, should probably hurry this up. This is kind of drawn out for a warm up for a study. If I don't start on the actual drawing, it will be here all night. Let's see, because I only have tonight and then Tuesdays. I may have to stream tomorrow night too to get this done, but Tuesday's the deadline. I'll be to do sometime. It's so fun and playful, color and texture everywhere. I'll be sure to. Sorry, I try to read without the typos if I can. Your drawing is drawn out. Let's not draw this out any further. Welcome, Lady Frenzied, Wicked Truth. Yeah, that's what I love about collage texture. Ice yogurt, maybe. Yeah, I need to focus. Get through this. His nose looks a little different than the other ones. Like, he doesn't seem to have that. Maybe it's just the angle or the light, but it could be. I have a feeling that the ones with the white heads are kind of a different variety, slightly different group than the ones with the white necks. Maybe that nose is a distinction too. Let's see. Good night, dearest Lulu. Night, Lulu. It's late for me. Alright, get some rest, Lulu. Thanks for joining me tonight. Joining us. Playing freeze tag streams was fun. Stream tag, yeah. That's what it was. We're trying a new game here tonight. I feel like my picture doesn't quite capture the ferocity, the fierce threat of the original. Haiku Dave's heading as well. Yeah, get some rest for work. It was great having you here. Thanks for the follow and for joining us. Mouth needs to go up a little more to the upper left. A little more here. The upper left needs to go down. Oh, I see it. Yeah. Yeah, like his mouth is a little bit more open. It's been that strain, the strained. The strained, like, wide openness that makes it so intense. That really tells you how upset he is. I don't know if I quite got it corrected enough, but there's also this kind of fur going up over there. Look at it as a shape of a cone. Shape of a cone. I'm not sure I understand seeing it as the shape of a cone. Let's see its nose here, the top of its mouth. This is all sort of a cone shape, right? We've got sort of a cone coming out there, and then the mouth is like Need to keep going though. Sometimes I usually say that so there's two the opening, the back of the mouth at the end of the cone. Yeah. I usually say that there's like sort of two parts to managing errors. One part of managing errors is correction, which is where you're trying to get accuracy. But the other part is accommodating your errors, which is something that I learned mostly when I was doing it, that you develop mostly, I would say, when doing drawing directly with ink. Which actually, that's the word I should not say. Do I still have a stream? Okay, I'm still on. But when I was doing all those Sharpie drawings directly to it, you know, you make mistakes inevitably, lots of them, and you try to make the drawing make sense anyway, even though there are mistakes there. So I think it's one of those cases based on my pace and what I need to get done tonight. I might just if there's an error in here, I might need to let it go. I'm not totally seeing it. Sometimes it's easier to see when somebody else is working though. I always wonder if when I watch Bob Ross, I always think I see him make a mistake that I think, oh, that's it, it's ruined. And then usually later on it seems to work out, but I wondered sometimes whether he's accommodating those errors or if he just has a plan that I'm not seeing at the time. Let's see, there's these dots right here, kind of interesting too. Okay, so that's, yeah, there is definitely something wrong there in that mouth. But I'm going to just keep going because I want to do one more study, and then I'm going to go into the final drawing. Let's see. Am I looking at it close? Which makes this facing. Sometimes it helps to look at the screen. It is more at a distance. Yeah. Upside down is great too. Yeah, that can help too. Is the fur between his nose and tooth, the side closest to the drawing. Let's see, I'm gonna go. I think I know the one. This is the one other one that I wanted. Oops, not that one. Page reloaded on me. This is the other one that I wanted to draw. It's actually fairly similar to the bat in terms of its expression. It's an upside right version of the. I mean, sort of the same expression on an animal, but similar to the bat. Let me see. I'm gonna pull up. So I'm going to go ahead and start figuring out how I want to crop it as a part of the job. Let's see. Now I had another image. I was hoping I had it here. I need to pull up on my phone. I had another version of this one that I kind of wanted to reference too. I'm not seeing it now. No, not seeing it. Alright, I'll go to my photos. Yeah, so I have like this black and white version of this one too. I thought I'd see if I can save this to copy iCloud link. See if I can bring that up. Sorry for the delay here. Come on. Bring it up in my notes app. You guys still hanging out? Let's see. Hello, Space Gal, Lumpy Space Gal, welcome. All right, here we are. There we go. So now I have two versions of it I can reference. One there and this one here. Oops. All right. Let's see. Hey, Lumpy Space Gal, so you're drawing. What are you drawing? Oh, a comic. That's fun. Let me go ahead and make this really big, I think. I'm working on the pine marten, which is this month's animal for the Fauna Focus group. Tuesday's the deadline. And my ears are looking kind of cat-like again. I think these animals do have a slight cat-like appearance, but I think I'm probably struggling with it because I've drawn cats a lot. Grew up with cats, and they were always sitting around the house, and so I would draw them quite a bit. And so, sort of like the base structure I'm working with for this type of animal in my head is cat. So I've got to watch that. All right, work away, Shav. That looks like a Pokemon. I don't remember his name. Second drawing cats. Sometimes. Cool, I caught the end of the last drawing. Oh, cool. Second cat. Sometimes something about their faces throw me off. See, I'm trying to sort of build the structure here. Just kind of a couple levels to it. The nose. We have this thing going on back here, and then another. Oh yeah, I can see a lot more of the indications of the overall shape of like the bridge of its nose and stuff. So this will probably go better than the other one because I can tell more about what's going on. I hope. We'll see. I like to try to indicate the whole eyeball. Its face is like triangular. So I like to try to draw the whole eye and then sort of draw the eyelids over it a little bit. That's at least what I try to do. And I might have gone into detail there a little too soon, so I'm not totally sure I have all the other proportions worked out. I've got kind of a bit of a brow indicated there. And here. So yeah, I'm trying to look for the main lines that tell me who this guy is, kind of what his character is, and I also want to sort of embellish the emotion that I feel from it. Let's see. So what I'm seeing here is mostly curiosity. Maybe curiosity and alertness. 3 more to go to affiliate. No way. That is wild. I must have missed some. I must have gotten some follows when I went offline then, because I didn't see those last 2. I don't think. Maybe I saw one of them. I think I did see one during the crash. That's a good tip, Shab. I think I have the most trouble in profile. Yeah, the sort of triangular structure, face structure of the cats. Yeah, like Shab was saying, there's sort of a cone to it. This is looking, my version's looking a little too fox-like. But that's okay. We'll get there. You have 4 shapes in drawing. What's that? I'm Shavari saying essentially that you have 4 basic straight shapes that you usually construct with: cone, cylinder, square, and a box. Yeah, I see that. This one has these here. Okay, so then this is... Boy, those ears look too big. We just need to bring them... Yeah, I just need to bring them in a bit. That was sort of the cat-like interpretation that was getting me. Once you do that, you can draw most things. Tiny Pachyderm is looking for, says they need a webcam. Are you thinking about streaming Tiny Pachyderm? Is that what you're saying? Oh my, that's how cylinders write. Interesting. This kind of... Boy, this looks a lot more dog-like. Sometimes the variation between what is actually there and the distortions that I introduce in my drawings are what I think kind of make the drawing interesting. But not in a study. If that happens in the final drawing after I've worked up to it, then I think, yeah, I kind of worked out the drawing, and then I was trying to do something more interesting with it. But in the study, kind of want it to look more like the original. There's a little bit. Let's see, he's got... This is only my second day ever, or excuse me, this is only my second day ever on Twitch, but I'm probably going to try it out. Yeah, you should. It's a lot of fun, especially if you draw or do anything really that creative. I guess the main thing to do on here is play video games. I'll probably give that a try at some point too, but I really like... Let's see. I really like drawing on stream. I did one stream where I was coding on. Actually, did 3 streams coding on stream, doing programming, doing like a particle system. Or I did actually a couple different takes on a particle system, and that was fun too. It was a little bit more stress though than this. Like this, you can kind of get into like somewhat of a meditative state and see what happens, and if there's no, I mean, for the most part, failing just means your drawing is a bit off, you know. But like with coding, failing meant that I had a list of like 30 errors that I couldn't figure out for a whole night with people watching, and it seemed like I got the most influx of viewers like right after I'd run into a major roadblock. I don't think I could do art and read chat at the same time. It looks so hard. Major props to you. Thanks, Lumpy Space Gal. It's a skill, I guess, that you learn over time. I wouldn't say that I've mastered it yet. I've been working on it though. Just even talking while I'm drawing has been a major challenge for me to get used to. Those indications right under the line, that actually does a fair amount of work. Okay, I'm gonna try. Oh, actually, I had more. I'm gonna go ahead and start to go down and do the neck a bit too. Let's see, the neck goes down like this. I feel like that's where you can recognize it's a pine marten is from this neck. Let's see, I gotta scale my window over here for my other reference. I have 2 references I'm working from here. 2 references of the same drawing, both black and white and with color. I kind of want to see it with the subtlety of it. And I kind of also want to see the black and white treatment. Because, you know, when you do a black and white filter, there are actually a lot of choices you can make around which areas, how highlights are treated. So I chose one of those rather than try and do it just in my brain. We all go through it. We're not used to it either. That's right, when you failed too much, you learn too much. I think that's what you said. Oops, I don't know if you can see that. Let me check here. I think when Kit Slam draws, I think I heard him say that he actually looks at the screen when he's drawing, which I haven't quite figured that out. There's not that much lag, so I guess I could see how you could do that. But yeah, I guess I just have to kind of force myself to do it. That way I end up not drawing off screen and not realizing that you guys don't see what I'm doing for a long time. This, I think, actually needs to kind of come over and curve more. I feel like I need maybe a larger desk area here for this. I probably will get back to doing the coding on air eventually. After that one time when I had a lot of errors, I decided to spend a little bit more prep time and make sure I understood what I was trying to do better. Because it can be pretty complicated. You don't want to be debugging complex technical issues on screen, or sometimes with code you can realize you actually have a lot of sort of like what I describe as being like housework, you know, not really fun making stuff happen on screen, but it's a lot more kind of just mundane setup tasks. That's working. I think this is coming along. All right. Oops. Got my white pencil already. Getting excited. Getting close. Not there yet, though. Yeah, I'm sure it would get easier over time. I think it has gotten a little bit easier for me. I wouldn't say I'm there yet, but when you watch Kit Slam, he's got, of course, he's a teacher by day, so that probably helps presenting all the time. But now I present at work a bit as a designer, but still not the way a teacher does. But I do think that it does come a bit with practice. The other thing you can do is, more preparation, right? Like if I have a presentation to do at work, I feel like the more that I can prepare my presentation and maybe, have an idea of what I'm going to say, can help. Of course, you can't do that with real-time interaction, So it's kind of a balance of being prepared with the things you think you're going to need to say and dealing with improvisation in the moment. Shoot, I hope I saw the stream because oh yeah, I do have worry about saying the wrong things too. If someone asks me a question. Yeah, that's that's definitely how it is when I'm doing a presentation at work. You know, you're showing a design, something that you've thought a lot about. You've tried a lot of different things, and then there's going to be questions. Have you thought of this, or have you thought about that? And you have to be ready to jump in to explain the things you've worked through, but you also have to kind of simplify things too. You don't want to bring everyone too deep into your thought process because people will get lost. They get lost in your explanations, or if you're like, sometimes I'll have a lot of backup designs that show the things we did before, and I found if I go into those too much, that's when I really lose people. Once they see a lot of variations, it can be harder to focus on what the recommendation is or what the learning was. I use, Bruce Wayne said, I use an eraser who calls Megajohn. Those are the best you can find out there. I don't if NU sells it. Talking about erasers, drawing. I definitely recommend this gummy eraser. I don't think there's anything quite like it. It can really, it's like the mistake never happened. See, now this ear kind of actually seems like it starts all the way down here. So I had that up there, but I really think it's down here that it's happening. There we go, like that. And it doesn't go as high. I brought that one down to there, so I need to bring this one not down quite as much because its head is tilted. Maybe I bring that one down more. Actually, I'm kind of missing the tilt a little bit here. So maybe I should just draw a line to remind myself that there's more of a tilt. I feel like that's getting a little bit more accurate though. Alright, so right about where that dent comes in is pretty close to where I'm seeing the back of its fur there, and then this is going to come down a bit more. Also, is it too far to the right? Maybe it comes in a little bit more here. I don't know, its head is looking a lot flatter though in my drawing, and I feel like this angle is making it a little bit worse. That's alright though, that goes. It is a study. I did want to try to get a little bit better accuracy in the study, but yeah, this head is way too flat. So this goes down like here, and then it kind of comes up and it's a little shorter. Yeah, it can be kind of challenging to talk through. I usually try to talk through my thought process or describe what I'm doing, and it can help sometimes to keep me focused. because if I'm saying, you know, if I'm describing out loud principles I'm trying to follow as I draw, it makes me more conscious of it. It makes me tend to do what I intend to do a little bit more in my drawing, but it can be hard to concentrate. Sometimes it's a balance somewhat of let's see, it's a bit of a balance of thinking and sort of actively correcting yourself and making yourself do the, you know, correcting your technique or trying to enforce technique. And practice drawing traditionally more. Started doing everything digitally and gotten too reliant on transform tools to fix things. Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed. There's the transforming for correction, and then the other thing is undo. Can be, you know, like ideally, if you're getting the fastest that you could work, which, you know, like I've had friends who work at like video game companies where they're basically doing character design or creature design all day long, and those guys, they, you know, their productivity, their performance is being measured based on how many designs they can produce a day. So for them, speed is really, really essential. So when I saw how some of those guys were working, I tried to do more. I tried to focus a little bit more on efficiency, and of course I'll never get to draw. If you draw 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day, like a lot of those guys do, you know, if you're only drawing a few hours a night or a couple times a week like I am, you're not going to be able to approach their level, but still you can learn from what they're trying to do. You'll never let anyone take away undo from you. So that's the things I try to when I draw. So actually, the thing I'm doing digitally lately isn't drawing; it's sculpting in VR. And when I do that, you know, it's just there's the thumbstick on the left hand. You can just flick it to the left to undo. And it's so tempting. So you'll draw a shape. You know, you'll do a stroke basically, or stamp a shape. And you'll undo it, you'll stamp it, undo it, or stroke, undo it, stroke, undo it. You'll do it like 2 or 3 times, and then usually get it right within, you know, 3 to 5 times, which is like drawing, you know, when you're doing sort of a very sketchy drawing where you're going over it and sort of slowly sculpting it. You know, you're like using reinstatement to find the right line. But the thing is, if you do that, if you rely on that, you're not going to get better at putting down the line that you want in fewer strokes. You're going to get used to sort of finding your way to it. You know, like you draw once and then you go again until you find it. That's why I'm trying to, like what I'm doing with the blue line and then the blue pencils, kind of forcing myself to have one pass at finding it and then doing a second pass. Of course, since I'm working with pencil, I really am spending a lot of time going back over. You can see I tend to sketch a lot. I'm doing that because I'm working with pencil. I didn't do this when I was working with Sharpie as much. Oh, mentioned ink. Hopefully my stream's still up. All right. But yeah, undo is part of the magic of digital art. It's way better than an eraser for sure. Yeah, like I figured it's like the two sides of the coin to drawing. There's, on one hand, there's getting it right and faster, and having accuracy, and then the other side is it's kind of going with the flow. And so I guess part of what I'm saying about how undo can kind of work against you. Let's see. Bruce Wayne said, "What thing do you enjoy most drawing it?" If you're asking me, Bruce, I don't know. I think I said it before. I thought you might have been talking to Lumpy Space Gal, but lately I've been drawing animals, and of the animals I've been drawing, I've been enjoying drawing the cats the most, because they have the most identifiable like emotions, and they're just a little more visually relatable. And I think like I mentioned earlier, I drew cats a lot as a kid, so that probably makes it a little bit easier for me. But in general, I like drawing people. I like drawing my kids. They can be a fun subject. I have some drawings of my kids on my Instagram. So yeah, probably those subjects. I like drawing the kids in pictures that sort of capture their personality a bit. Because like when you're drawing people, it's a little more than just capturing the emotion that you feel in it. Part of it's about capturing a portrait is a bit about capturing personality and finding interesting ways that like finding interesting poses or activities, like there's the image that's actually down below of my daughter. She's like down on the ground and she's got a stick and she's poking at the ground or something. And if you knew my daughter, and particularly in the location she's doing it on the way into on the porch on the way into the house. It's very distinctive of her. That's the kind of thing that she does, is kind of dawdles and gets really into. She notices the little details. She's the sort of person that she'll literally stop to smell the flowers any chance that she gets. And that's very much who she is noticing. She's observant about the world around her, and she'll stomp in all the puddles and all that kind of thing. I love to do drawings, catch images, capture a photograph that has that quality of her, and then to draw that and bring it out is a lot of fun. But right now I'm doing animals because you can't always do the same subject, and also I think there's two sides to art. One is connecting with an audience, and the other is kind of doing something that's like sort of more self-indulgent. And while there's definitely people in my life who appreciate the drawings of the kids, for like the overall world, that's a bit self-indulgent. It's more like if I was hiring myself to do commissions, I would hire myself to do drawings of the kids, of course. But if I'm trying to do drawings that I think will connect with people in general, I'm going to look for subjects that other people can share the interest in, and animals I think are a good topic for that. It's really sweet. Well, I feel like all my art is self-indulgent. Well, I think you have to do both, actually. So I actually got that, the line that I was saying there was actually about it being the two things. That was in a course that I took recently. Actually, I'm still taking. I've been a little behind on it lately, but there's these master classes. I don't know if you saw they were advertising on Facebook pretty heavily for a while, and I bought into it. And so there's a course by what's his name? Dead Mouse, who recently had some unfortunate news, which I won't go into, but he had some real insight. Who's talking about how, like, when he's creating new music, there's the stuff that he wants to do, which is a little bit more experimental and is kind of pushing the boundaries. And then there's his audience has like these expectations of him that they really want, like sort of the thing that he made his name doing, dance music that's very sort of like sing-song. People are very, this is all darker down here, but I don't want to get too much into the shading because I'm not really doing a lot of that, but I've kind of started down that path. So he was saying that he would create sometimes he creates new music and then he'll go and play it someplace and see that, he'll look around the room, and rather than everyone sort of like dancing and bopping to it and getting into it, he sees that everybody's like just sort of standing around looking a little bit confused. And he says that's when he knows he's been a little too self-indulgent and not working to connect with his audience. But he's saying, on the other hand, if you just go for what reaches your audience, you'll end up with sort of cliche work. Yeah, I did see promos of those. How is it? Actually, I think it's really good. You're not paying me, so I won't push it too hard here. I should probably go get a sponsorship from them first. But I actually really enjoyed it. I've done the comedy one with Steve Martin, and I did the acting one, even though I don't have any intention of acting. I feel like performance and presentation are kind of related. And so I did Samuel Jackson's one, which was really more entertaining than it was educational. I mean, mostly because I'm not an actor or trying to be an actor. But then there's Hans Zimmer composition, which that I am doing some composition. I will be doing composition on here. I'm gonna do a bit of this shading in here so I get kind of the feel of it before I go into the black and white. I think this is the image I'm planning on doing in the since I do have additional reference of it in black and white. I was thinking I might in the first place, but I wanted to give the other images a fair shake. But Dead Mouse is good. Hans Zimmer I think is even better, and they keep adding content. I think it gets better and better. Yeah, I liked. There's one by the game designer who created Sims and Spore and just tons of games. He did SimCity. He has a thing on there about game design, which I think really is about just design in general. A lot of it can be applied more generally, I mean. So I definitely recommend that one. I started taking, was it the CEO of Starbucks, Schultz? That one was kind of, I don't know, it just seemed like it was a lot of sort of like cliche leadership things that he was saying. I don't know, I should probably watch it further and see, but I wasn't super impressed with what I saw there initially. But most of them are really good. But yeah, I can see ways that this is off. I think I'm gonna go ahead though and move forward to the move on to the drawing. Subcreation. Bruce Wayne wants to know what is most difficult for me to draw. Oh, most difficult to draw. Let's see. Yeah, I was answering my other questions, but I lost track of that one. Most difficult to draw. I'd say things that are more mechanical are a lot harder. That requires a lot of precision. And I think I work a little bit better with the more organic, more forgiving subjects. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and maybe I'm gonna switch over to my main reference here. I'm gonna switch these out so you guys can follow along the black and white reference as I'm move that down a bit. Oops. I don't know why it keeps resizing like that. If every time I go down there like that, it just resizes. Oh, there we go. It's a little better. There we go. Pretty close. Okay. So yeah, I'd say probably that. Buildings, yeah, buildings can be hard to draw. Let's see. I think I need to pull this up a little bit more. My camera is just a little too. I need this back a little bit. Oh, no. All right, let's see how this goes. How about yourself, Bruce Wayne? What do you like to draw, and what do you find more difficult? I'm guessing that you do draw. Let's see. Let's see. Kind of want to plan the overall space out. Might need a little bit more light for the sketch. So I usually sketch in black lead first, which is kind of reflective. Not being able to see it right now at this angle though. Maybe I need my light. I need to get my light on it more. I'm gonna do this part. I want to get, it's a little rounder than I had them before. I want to make sure that I make it too flat again. So I need to bring this down. I think that's a little better. I'm going to do the try to get that. There's this structure going on in here. And there's kind of a muzzle, I mean, there. Most difficult for me is the expression of one person on his different angles. It's doing expressions at different angles. And I like to draw a character of comic book styles. Yeah, I was guessing that from your name. Yeah, I like, that would be fun. I might do some comic book characters. Unfortunately, so my favorite comic book characters are like Superman and Batman and the current movie cycles, they're a little out of vogue right now. I mean, they were trying to do them with the new movies, but I don't know. I was not a big fan of the Justice League stuff myself. No offense if you are. See, I like to draw. So, and the power of his shapes and all your imagination put to it. Okay, so I think the eye is going to be around there. And this one is more over here. And then there's this. Gotta be careful about putting down too much of this structure drawing though, because the shiny black lead can really compete with the white lead that goes down later. From there to there. That's actually about right. Like from there to there, there to there. I usually do take off a bit of it with the gummy eraser before I do the. But usually I notice after I'm done, I see places where the lead is showing through, and that's not totally ideal. Probably would do better to work it out on tracing paper and then transfer just some guidelines rather than having the whole construction drawing there. Okay, so that's about it there. Doesn't go up that high at all, really. I do like doing some cartooning, like caricatures, stylized art more. Before I took a short break from this series. That's too high up. From these, I started this black series and I took a break from it to do what's called a monster project, which is where kids submit art. It's a cute animal. It's like staring at me. Yeah. Yeah, he looks very inquisitive, curious. There's a little hesitant, but mostly just there's a bit of his innocence to his expression. Not as much as the bat that had almost like a baby-like look to it, but somewhat. These eyes do look, oh, of course, I'm having these need to go in and, because these eyes are meant to be the indication of where the eye socket is, and then I need to kind of carve into it a little bit, like what the eyelids would be. But I don't want it to be too don't want them to be too small. If they get too beady, then it looks a little more. They are kind of beady eyes, though. Actually, I never try to draw an animal. Yeah, it can be good to branch out and try different things. I'm still seeing what looks somewhat like a misshapen cat in my drawing. That's okay. I think I'll get the correction of it as I go into the. This nose is a little too low and a little bit of the wrong angle. So that'll probably help with that. Also, that nose should be about as wide as the bridge. It's leading down it. The bridge of the nose. It's leading down into it. That's a key distinction between how cats look. And yeah, I'm planning on doing kind of a range of drawings over a period of time. Then I'll probably try some different subjects away from drawing altogether. I have a plan to program some behaviors for robots, or a robot. Well, any of the. They are so tricky if you wanted to draw from your imagination. Yeah, that's something I should probably spend some time doing too on here. So before I started doing the Sharpie drawings, I was doing whiteboard drawings, and there I would when I was doing that, I'd alternate between drawing from reference, drawing something completely out of my head, and drawing sort of some more like doodle type drawings that weren't necessarily meant to be anything. Those usually ended up I would try to do that, but they'd end up being drawings out of my head. Kind of like Zen doodles is sort of what I was trying to do. Trying to just turn off the part of my brain that was trying to make sense of things, but usually I didn't succeed, and I would actually I'd end up making sense out of it. But anyway, so I started out doing that in whiteboard drawings, and then I decided to move on to Sharpie because it was kind of a hassle to have to erase the whiteboard, and also it just it seemed kind of wasteful, even though I was just trying to do it for practice. One of the viewers mentioned that it stressed them out to see that. Or no, it was one of my viewers that told me that they didn't like to see them being erased. And then I moved to Sharpie drawing, and that was when somebody told me that it was stressful to see the drawing directly to paper without doing the sketch first. And I was kind of doing that still for exercise, so I didn't think too much about it. I just kept doing that, but eventually I realized I saw the difference in quality. I did a couple of drawings where I really messed them up in Sharpie first, and then I thought, I should give the sketch a shot. And then after that, I saw such an improvement in the drawings that I didn't go back to doing them without the sketch. I almost entirely draw in ink. Tiny pachyderm. So, do you stream when you draw? Oh, you were talking. That's right. You were talking before. You were thinking about streaming. That you were new here. and I've thrown away a lot of drawings I went just a little too far with. Yeah. Okay. So that's just a little bit of a... Okay, so now I can go ahead and indicate the neck. Here I should sort of figure out how far down does that go from there to... Alright, so the distance from there to there is there to the... That's where that is. And then... So it ends up being kind of equal. And make sure that this kind of follows that. Correct. Turns out I've drawn a lot of birds all facing left. Didn't realize until I started compiling everything into Instagram. Ha. This reminds me a little bit of a hyena, too. I don't have much experience drawing hyenas. Just maybe the chest and neck area kind of reminds me of it. Yeah, hyena would be an interesting subject. They have that kind of mocking expression. It's hard to tell how much of that is actually in the character of the animal or how much of it is how we kind of interpret its features. But haha, yeah, I like that little guy. Lion King made us all think of hyenas as evil. Yeah, that's for sure. Probably not getting a fair rap. Probably some fine hyenas out there. Now they have to live under that stigma. So let's see. I'm wondering, is this a little narrow? Is this too narrow? It does get narrower than the face. And the question is, how much should it? So the distance from there to that eye. Whoa. Okay, so I've definitely made it too skinny there. I guess the correction, let's see if I got the angle there about right. That angle is okay. Maybe it could come out a little bit. Make this a little bit more like that. But really, it's the other side of the... From there to there, and then from there to there. So this really needs to come over like this. So this whole part right here needs to come back and up. course, there's still a question of if I wanted to skew it intentionally. That'd make it more interesting. I think that might have been what was making it look a little more hyena-like, actually, was that I made it get too narrow in the neck. Can't be sure, but it's a little too far over though there. He's missing a little shoulder. Let me take a picture. Hyenas are most closely related to meerkats, mongooses. Yeah, these guys do look a bit like meerkats and mongooses, though I wonder if they're related or how close they are into that family. This part right here kind of goes that. Okay, so I think this whole thing does need to move up, because there's a bit of this shape here. Then this goes out a little bit of a shoulder. And then this kind of continues over. A little bit rounded. I think, is that better? Let's look. I don't know if you can tell there. I think it's definitely a lot closer than the study was. Everyone likes meerkats. I think hyenas get a bad rap because they're scavengers. Yeah. And I kind of wonder how much of that is like, I mean, isn't the very idea of a scavenger itself kind of, it seems like there's something innately, I don't know, something innately off about an animal scavenging. Although it doesn't seem like why should it necessarily, right? Like the alternative would be that it's hunting, and hunting is, I mean, yeah, I guess we kind of make these moral judgments about things that are really just a matter of how the creatures, how for them it's how they live. His shoulder. Yeah, that's what I think. I think I got that in there. The shoulder. I think I got it. It could be a little bit sharper actually. It goes up a bit like that and then cuts in. And then there's some more fur up there. Oh, this side. Okay. Let me look at that. Okay, so on this side, it's this shoulder, right? This is, well, that is the shoulder that maybe you can't see it because of the angle. That I have a shoulder, kind of a shoulder bone down there. Oh, it's, that shoulder, is that the chest? No, that isn't the shoulder. This comes up and then there's a little bit of one equivalent to that one right here. Is that where? Yeah. That's what you're referring to. You can't totally see it. Oh, Critter Art rated with a party of 8. Welcome. I'm seeing that on my dashboard here. Yeah, it says Critter Art rated with a party of 8. Welcome, Raiders. Thank you. Thank you, Critter Art. Thanks for joining. I'm working on a drawing for the fauna focus group. It's supposed to be a pine marten. I'm not sure totally what the difference is between. These are some of the studies I did for it earlier. Making a little bit of progress. from these. And I have one other series of the studies that I did, just trying to warm up and get into it. These are for the fauna focus group. And then what I'm doing now is I'm drawing. Right now I'm just doing the underdrawing, but I'm about to start with the white charcoal and do something like these. I'm continuing this series that I've been doing for a bit. Got the panther here, and then tonight is the pine marten. Welcome, Art Love All Day. Thanks. Thanks for the compliment. Yeah, I've been trying to develop this series, doing a little bit of charcoal after previously I was working with Sharpie and still drawing animals then. I'm moving into some charcoal, white charcoal, and then after this I think I might do some portraits later on. So I think it's time to start on this face now. So what were you working on, critter art? Wonder if I could pull it up and actually see. I'll just pull it up on Twitter. Or Twitch, excuse me. My brain. Critter art. Of course, that's... Oh, it doesn't have the videos there. Oh, I see. Yeah, I already follow you. Yeah, I think I haven't actually seen one of your streams yet, though. I saw... Oh, here's some popular clips, though. Oops. Here, I'm gonna... This is a tradition I got from Russell. He usually plays a clip when he's rated from the person who's doing it. So it's very cool. The mods won't let me tell you what I did. Did a sci-fi lady today. Oh, okay. Very cool. Yeah, so are you familiar with... Yeah, nice work. That looked really cool. It looks like you're painting there. Is this maybe a mix of color pencil and paint? Let's see, I better need to turn this down a little bit and get a little bit out of my way. Thanks. Thanks, Poke Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, I'm working on a pine marten. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the fauna focus group, but the idea is that it's sort of like a group study where each month we all draw the same animal together. Oh boy, I need to sharpen more than that. Oh, it's gouache. Okay. I'm not familiar with gouache, actually. I mean, I've heard the term, but I don't really know anything about it. Is it looks like you've mastered it. So it sounds like gouache paint, actually. It's more like opaque watercolor. Oh, I think I would like that. I did some watercolor and I tended to kind of use it that way, putting on pretty heavily in order to get control of it. I always feel like the challenge with watercolor is that you just have to embrace having no control over it. But if you'd use a little bit of water and put it on thicker, then I feel like I could get more control. But I guess what I needed to do is embrace not having control and learn from the medium more, probably. But now I know that gouache works that way, but I should give that a try. That would be fun. I like to try new mediums. Gouache confuses the heck out of Lumpy Space Gal. Do you do watercolor, Lumpy Space Gal? I forget we were talking earlier about mediums. That might be mixed up. Color changes so much when it dries. How do you go over an area? How do you go over an area you have already painted? Once you figure it out, it's forgiving. That's nice. Yeah, so I should probably, before I get too much further, I should probably take some of this lead off because this is pretty shiny and it'll really show through at the end. So I need to kind of take it up a bit. Okay, Sub, I gotta get to bed. Thanks for sharing your critter with us. Good night, Critter Art. Thanks so much for the raid. I'll look forward to catching one of your streams soon. Haha, still figuring it out. Yeah, get some rest and be sure to get some rest tomorrow. It's Sunday, so I'm sure a lot of people are having to get ready for work. I have a tendency to, when Sunday comes, it's like it's the last part of my weekend, so I kind of want to stretch it out. And that usually means staying up too late, but it's all good. Let's see if that's coming up. Okay. Just trying to get sort of the excess lead off. I still expect it to be there. I just don't want it to be super shiny when I get through the rest of my drawing. Especially with the structure lines don't even indicate where actual light would be. Okay, that's probably enough for now. I need to head out too. It was nice chatting and seeing what you're working on. It's looking awesome already. Thanks, Lumpy Space Gal. Bye. Have a good night. Thanks for joining. Look forward to seeing you another time. I'll catch your work sometime. Okay. Actually, I think I can dim the light here. There you go. It'll help just to bring it down more, I think. It was just too bright before. Oh, I'm gonna turn my music back on and take a quick drink of my tea. Okay. All right. So I usually try to, so the goal here is I usually do the eyes first because I'm trying to establish what I see as being sort of the emotional center of the image. So I'll do that. I think I'll keep working out from around the eyes a little bit, establish sort of the features around the eyes. And then the next thing would be, I guess, the muzzle is a fair amount of the details, but I think also with, I don't know if it's as true with this type of animal as it is with cats, but with cats, the ears do tend to indicate a fair amount of the emotion or the attention of the animal. So I might do the ears next and then maybe move into that. So I think, yeah, it's going to be, and I usually try to keep the image somewhat balanced as I do it. So the eyes, then probably the nose and the bridge and the mouth. Let me go in that order. And it's because I'm trying to kind of get at the feeling of it. So let's see. I think this right here. I know different artists have different approaches to how they tackle the work. And there isn't a right way to do it. But I'm trying to develop the technique that I think helps me to make sure that I do the work of conveying what the feeling of the piece. And I think in this case it's a bit of curiosity. I'm seeing a bit of curiosity in there, a bit of alertness. See how am I doing on time? It is getting a little late. I might need to do this again tomorrow night because I really spent a lot of time on those studies, more than I usually do. I'll keep going for a while though. For that balance coming over here on this side. I think I do the balancing thing partly just to, if I step back and I'm doing the feature on the other side, if I were to just start over here and work across, I'd probably skew it as I go. But by jumping back and forth, it forces me to look at the drawing as a whole. I do have a tendency to skew the proportions a little bit, and I think, if you're working digitally, you can just flip it to see it, but when you're working in analog, you have to be more conscious about evaluating that you're not doing that, you're not skewing it. And I think going back and forth between the features and sort of seeing how they're balanced how they balance each other as they merge helps with that a bit. Need to bring this light up a little bit. It's unfortunate because the light shows up a lot more on camera. I guess if that's the case, maybe I should try to look look up here. Just have a hard time doing that. I'm used to looking where my pencil is. Just feel a little bit separated from the pencil up there. And something where working digitally would actually solve that. If I was working on an iPad, for example, I'd be able to see it directly under my pencil, and it would be exactly the image that was being captured. Of course, I'd have to stream from my Mac, which would be a little trickier. Looks like all of my chatters are off. It's okay. Lurkers are welcome. Just means I have to figure out what I'm talking about for myself. Tiny pachyderm, I'm still watching, but I have to lean forward to type. And that's so much work. Yeah. But you're welcome to lurk. For sure. Yeah, when I'm watching streams, I do that a lot. Go back and forth between lurking and chatting. It's part of the beauty of the whole system is you can talk and get involved, and then you can kind of relax and sit back. So definitely you're welcome to do that. We encourage it. Okay. Oh yeah, I didn't go in around this eye as much. That's obviously what I need to do next. Here I am talking about balance, and what did I do? Went right into the bridge of the nose without working out these details here. Oh, wait, what am I doing? I feel like I'm off. I think this line belongs over here, and it does, I think. That's alright, though this yeah, so the fauna focus group is kind of an interesting sort of a form of a collaboration, but it's sort of a loose collaboration where each person gets to sort of choose their own reference, and they all work in their own medium. So KidSlam and Tikiwa have been talking about different ways to form collaborations. And so the one that we tried last week, I think it was last Monday, was where we just work on the same subject together at the same time, and then people can pull it up and view us both in different, basically by using one of those multi-stream sites. You can actually see you can watch two streamers at once and see both of their chats, which we found from doing that experiment was that it can be pretty tiring to try to watch two people at once, especially if they have different audio tracks going. So Tikiwa and KidSlam did another experiment where I think it was just last night, where they each were basically on a Discord call together. So on both streams, you could hear both of them talking, and so it was one conversation. They basically managed to unify the chat by unifying the audio, which made it much easier to follow. So that's something I'd like to give a shot at. I'd like to try that. Something's a little too busy in there, but I suppose this is supposed to be meeting up more. That would probably help. What is this? But forming teams is another thing, I think, another form of collaboration that I'd like to learn more about. So this will be my first month actually submitting art for Fauna Focus. I did make art for it last time, but I didn't get it in. Okay, so this actually fills in here like this. Mine faces end up looking a lot more wrinkly than the subjects. I may just have to soften it up a bit, maybe by smudging or something once I get into it more. I think it's probably because I'm tending to not fill in the, like, these are more levels of gray rather than black. So we need to oh wait, that's too much though. Well, it's just getting out of balance with it. This is definitely going to be this is a much brighter highlight here. Like the sign, it kind of reminds me of Gershwin a little bit. Sort of a laid back Gershwin. All right, now the top of the nose. All right, I gotta take a quick break. Be 1 minute, 2 minutes tops. Yeah, I think that's stay. But yeah, I'll be right. Right, I'm back. We lost a couple of you. All right. Alright, just a slight indication under the nostril there, and here. Okay, so there needs to be a little bit of a slight gap beneath where that nostril is indicated. And there's just a very slight indication above it. Alright, so I did these eyes and I've sort of flushed out the bridge from the mouth and working into the muzzle. Mine's still looking a lot more complicated than the source, but I'm sure that'll come around as we keep going. Probably I'll end up just sort of blending a lot of this. Right now it's because it's so stark. Okay, so this here is kind of trying to avoid to get too much into the details of these whiskers over here because I'm trying to find the overall shape of the muzzle, but it's kind of hard to do this part without actually tackling that. So I'm kind of taking the first stab at where some of those those whisker points are there. So all need to be about the same level of gray in here. Definitely something to be said for sort of building it up gradually. I know that Good Slam was just a master of the color pencils. He often says that he sculpts. He considers it to be like 2D sculpting. I definitely see that. Definitely have a very chill stream going now. Went from being kind of a party earlier to being a very subdued vibe. I think that's kind of my usual vibe. Is pretty. Well, the music I've got going now, I think that's ambient channel, so that's the only way I can make this more chill would be if I started doing ASMR, really put people to sleep. Okay, well, I'm gonna go sleep, fall asleep myself though if I don't try something more. So I find a channel with a little bit more energy. We're on ambient. I'm gonna try. Let's see, there's chill. I'm gonna try chill. Chill is a little bit less little less sleepy than ambient is. But isn't a total departure from my overall kind of relaxed vibe. Oh man, I dozed off a moment. Now that little pine marten has a forehead. Yeah, I was just joking about how the only way I could be more certain to put everyone to sleep from what I was doing would be to go into some ASMR right now. Start whispering and tapping on my mic. My dog would probably bark at mic tapping. Lol. Yeah. Yeah, the mic tapping is the thing I get the least about. Like, I kind of get ASMR. Like, I don't know what they mean when they say they get tingles or whatever. But I mean, I can get how, somebody whispering into a microphone is kind of uncannily intimate, That's not something that you normally experience in other circumstances. So I think I can see how that's working, but I really don't get the tapping. The tapping, I'm always like, oh, please stop tapping. No offense to any ASMR artists out there. Like I said, it's probably just me not getting it. I heard someone was telling me that some of the ASMR triggers that people have are related to girls when they were having their hair brushed by their moms when they were kids. It's sort of a sensation that is like related to that tapping or scratching sounds sometimes, and that's why those triggers are there for those people. But I haven't had that experience, obviously, so I don't know. What's the O about? Tiki Pachyderm? What did I? Is that something I said or? Or is it the shock of the station change? I think that might have been what woke you up if you were drifting off. I switched to a less. Oh, the hair brushing, yeah. So that makes sense to you, I'm guessing. Such a particular memory. Yeah, I don't know it from the other side, but I've had to do a lot of hair brushing, and it was not. It's always a struggle. My girls don't like having their hair brushed. It takes a lot of patience, and you have to yeah. Okay, this definitely is gonna need to build up, because that's about the color that's gonna be all in there, but just keep working toward it. Sort of the sculpting method. I'm trying to slow down and take things a little bit slower. So as I watch other artists work on here, I want to learn from what I see them doing that is really working. And up until recently, I was kind of rushing my work more, partly because I feel like, I think there's a balance to it. There's a value in going faster, and being able to cover more ground, and I feel like as you get better at it, going faster, you hopefully be getting accurate at those higher speeds. But that being the case, even if you've developed some speed, some accuracy going faster, you ought to be able to slow down and be all that much more, have all that much more control. Of course, on the other hand, let me go back and forth on this. On the other hand, I feel like going fast sometimes gets you into the flow, gives you kind of a loose feel, makes the art have more, lets you kind of imbue a bit more of your style into it. Like the style kind of comes from the strokes and from trying to I don't have to wrangle little girls for hairbrushing, fortunately. Yeah. I try to be really sensitive because, I understand it's not. I know it's not. It hurts because you're going ow, ow. If you do it too fast, so you have to go really slow and work your way up. Okay, I know I have a lot more work to do in there to get this all balanced out and to match it, but for now I'm just gonna kind of outline this area down here, and then I'll probably call it a night and come back and work out these values tomorrow. You brush from the top down or in little sections from the bottom up? Definitely in little sections from the bottom up. I learned that one. No, top down does not work. Yeah, you do it in little patches from the bottom up for sure. Yeah. No, I've learned a thing or two about that. Also, braiding the hair the night before sometimes can save you some heartache the next day. I haven't done that in a while, but sometimes I try to leave breaks for where the whiskers are shooting through there, but I think I'll just. You can also erase them later. This eraser works pretty sharp, but I'll try not to go too dark there too, because I do know there'll need to be some breaks in the line there going down. Maybe it wouldn't hurt to kind of indicate those a little bit here. I can do more of them later. More on it later. Go ahead and do that so I can remember where. I'll have a feeling I'll come back later and decide that it belongs somewhere else. Those are not quite in the right spot. That's pretty close though, I think. That's that line there. Trying to remember where my markers are to help me maintain my proportions. There's some pretty good little tufts there. Of course, I'm not always trying to get to have exactly the same tufts that I see. Part of it is just approximating it, right? Alright, I think those are kind of the major points there. I'll go ahead and get a little bit more of the outline here. I think once I get the overall form down, I think that might be it for tonight. See, we almost made, let's see, did I make it to, I'm 3 short of my goal for followers. So if you're watching right now and you haven't followed, you could almost bring us there. Yeah, so close. It's been fun. I'm actually really surprised. I did not think I would get here this soon. I kind of told myself like, well, I'll probably get there in a couple more months. But actually I've discovered that a big part of the fun is watching other people's streams and getting to know other artists. And I found the more that I do that, the faster things go. Kind of funny though when I think about, Leslie says this has been neat. I'm only 2 days in. Yeah, it is a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing if you get set up. You're saying you're getting a webcam. If you get set up and you have any questions, particularly about, so like I have a DSLR and then I have, this is a webcam here. And getting the DSLR set up was a bit of a challenge. So if you have questions or you run into problems, I could definitely go ahead and message me, and I'll see if I can help. Yeah, I definitely recommend starting out with what you can do, and not you want to make it as little of a project as possible for sure. Better to get started sooner, I'd say, and figure out things later on. You don't need like the mic and all this stuff. And I wouldn't recommend this, like this armed overhead thing with this lamp. I thought it looked perfect when I bought it, but it's just a few inches short. If it was just a little bit longer. This one's almost long enough, but this one is too short. So I find myself really struggling with it a lot. I wonder about using mobile streaming while I wait for a webcam. Actually, yeah, I recommend that. You can do quite a bit with that. So you can just take your camera. If you have like a tripod or something, and set it up on so that it is over your work. I think that would be totally fine. Try Streamlabs OBS. They have a mobile app that works really well. I did one stream. The time I did GarageBand, I was doing composition of GarageBand on my phone. So that works. Then also, if you want to work on your phone, like you have a drawing program. I don't like to draw on my phone, to be honest, but maybe I'll mess around with that tomorrow. Great, yeah, I'll watch for your. So I have to follow you first. Oh, let's see, view info. There we go. There, I followed you, so I'll see when you do something. Okay, so that's a lot of. Yeah, I think Twitch is one of the better communities I found in terms of like people being really welcoming and lots of positivity and creativity. It's an incredible amount of talent out there. I find it just super inspiring. All right, I think that is going to be a wrap for tonight. So we better figure out who we're going to raid. Let me go ahead and pause tunes, and we'll pull up. Please stick around for the raid, because raiding is definitely one of the funner things that we do here. Switch over to this view. So let's see if somebody has a suggestion of somebody that you know is streaming that you want to raid. I'm definitely down for suggestions. Let's see. Oops, I gotta mute myself. I'm getting into a hall of mirrors here. So Morwick is live. Last time I actually did raid Auroral Games, so I don't want to do the same person every time. Maybe it'll be more interesting to actually find somebody new by going to the art section. Anybody have any suggestions? Use the game more, and I've been missing the online community, so this is pretty promising. Yeah. So we might do some gaming on here too. I do want to do that at some point. I'm thinking, oh, this is interesting. Somebody's doing like sand art. It's already being hosted by somebody I follow. Boy, that looks pretty incredible. We've got a lot of viewers, though. I wonder. I'm not sure I know what the rule is on, like, if you're always rating people who have a larger following than you. Does that seem like you're? I don't know. This actually looks really good, and it is with 0. Oh, that's latest videos. That's not okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and rate this one. I think. Oops, didn't mean to go to. I meant to go here to Sand Experiment, get their name, and then we'll hop on over to the old dashboard. And let's raid. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining. Thanks for sticking around for the raid too. I don't know if it worked. I don't think it did. Okay. Yeah, I'm still here. Still figuring this out. I'm gonna see if maybe I need to. Maybe it's because I'm using Streamlabs OBS. Last time I did this, it actually crashed on me, but it successfully did the raid, but it crashed my thing. So now I need to try. Let's see. Is there a way to do the raid from here? If anybody knows, I'm all ears. I'm just go ahead and hit raid now and see if that does it.
Welcome. My name is Anna, and I was sent here. If you will have any questions about standard, I will be ready. I will be happy to answer. How was the stream, Subcreation? What did you stream today? Nice. Good stuff. I don't fit well them. Dark words are too low. Have hard time changing focus. Wow. So even this means a lot. Let me think in the car. I guess new models they look different than previous Ford Rangers. Yeah, that looks pretty much like we had. Or no, I'm not sure. I cannot find an exact picture, unfortunately. So basically, that was red Ford Ranger. Beret, maybe. Oh, he's French. I can give him a scarf. When you drive a car and you're fancy, you need scarf. All the Rangers are really good tracks, and then here the Asian Oceania like that, and then the one in US gets. Yeah, now I tried to Google, and it seems like Google shows me blurry, and it doesn't look like the one we had.
I knew we would make it tonight, but it was pretty exciting. You didn't think you'd be up to 47. No. You were at 39 when you started to 38.
Oh, really? Wow, that was wild.
It really makes sense sometimes. Doesn't it?
Oh, what do you think about that electric cars? Is it? The
The
future
future
is
is
already
already
here.
here.
Is
Is
it
it
possible to
possible to
use it
use it
like
like
for
for
every
every
day?
day?
And
And so,
Sonia, girl,
girl,
thank
thank
you
you
so
so
much.
much.
Friends,
Friends,
please
please
check
check
him
him
out.
out.
I
I
mean,
mean,
you
you
will
will
never
never
regret.
regret.
He
He
is a
is a
rapper.
rapper.
A
A
really
really
good
good
one.
one.
So
So
welcome,
welcome,
rappers.
rappers.
Welcome,
Welcome,
raiders.
raiders.
And
And
we know what I like about Insomniac Rap? Uh, when you see him just talking to chat, you will never guess that when he will start rapping, that will be so massive. That will be so energetic. He's such a calm person. He likes to make photos of the angels, beautiful photos, by the way, and then suddenly, woohoo! So, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome, friends. I hope stream was wonderful. How you? ASMR and then rap, yeah. Okay, I know how to describe you how awesome Insomniac is. Shadow very seldom says good words about streamers. Shadow, how's your cat? can you can you imagine how old he is? Had fun day, and I hope you're having a great stream. Yeah, this stream is great. Thank you. How did we get here? So, I was performing my stand-up show about Detective Whiskers. Detective Whiskers is a cat. And this interactive show, so there is a moment when I'm asking people who you want me to draw, and we came up with with the rooster, who's the charmer, and he's driving too fast. That's why police is interested in him. So after the show, we decided to make a more detailed drawing of this rooster, and he's French. That's why he's wearing a scarf. Congrats, thank you. Oops. I need to do something on my side of the camera. Today I cannot read. Nice. Thank you. My camera doesn't look really good. Oh yeah, yeah. That's what was wrong with it. So guys, we're done with that. And for my art, I do sand. Lit background. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you gotta go to bed because it's school day tomorrow.
It's night. So just said
Solid
on
8 hours
this
sleep.
Oh, did you?
view,
There's no chance
you
to
can see that I have wooden choice with glass on the top. It's a light box.
Oh, that was just so
I can
awesome.
adjust
We
brightness
had a
and
good night.
color and
He
lights
gained
and
8
walls.
followers.
I
He's up to
think I will
47 and 3
demonstrate
more
how
heavy
easily. Oh,
Yeah,
one
it was
more.
pretty
This is
exciting.
cool.
Plus, it was a fun group.
So
You know how it is when it's a fun group. Awesome. That's really cool. I'm happy, Dad.
usually when I finish drawing,
Nathan?
What's that?
She said she's
I
happy
put
for
it on
you.
full screen and change
Oh
the
yeah, it's
brightness
been
and
fun. It's a lot of
It's a lot
fun.
of
light
fun.
and change the whole picture.
Yeah, you should get set up and do some animation. Maybe.
I'm practicing. I'm not that great.
Bless?
Give me time.
Oh,
It was
what
fun.
should I do? Bless?
Especially you come back on and we did hear you
Friends,
say,
you
you're
know,
talking about like the
it's
phone
a
and
crazy thing.
you were
I mean, crazy
like,
thing.
not to us, you weren't.
But my
I think I
Because
said.
when you go down, you can still
and
chat.
now we
When it goes black
pretty
screen, you
Yeah.
can still chat with it.
race.
The
Yeah.
thing.
2 in a row. One of them from Insomniac and another one, let me read the name properly, Subcreation. So if you want, we can repeat it, special for you. And you will see that the main point of Sandite is where you can transform pictures very easily and very fast, and that's why it's so cool to have it like a performance. Yeah, that's what we needed to make it like separated. Oh my god! Congratulations! Kid Boga has such an amazing community. You're so lucky, Insomniac. Does it make you sad? No, I like it. I like this part. Okay, friends, let's save it like that. And then, if you want to see something funny, I can repeat Detective Whisker's show for you. He has a very good taste, yeah, that's for sure. Or you guys mostly live in after 8. Maybe you want to sleep. If you're ready to stay here for about 30-40 minutes, we can make Detective Whisker's show again. And people who didn't get something from the first performance, maybe you will get it on the second. Just be more attentive to details. Details means a lot in detective stories, you know. I feel like that would be alone with a chocobo. Oh no, I'm going to have to pay attention after midnight. I will try to make it easier now. I will try to point with my finger some details you need to notice, okay? So, I know it's hard because it's past. I'll be around. Great, great, great. Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for coming. I'm really happy to have you raid today because I'm I'm fan of Insomniac. I love coming here to win down after my stream. Yeah, I felt so silly. I didn't know that you're streaming. You're my long-time viewer, and I had no idea that a rap it's not just an addition to Insomniac. That's what you actually do. Aha, David, thank you. Turbo Absurdum. Thank you for coming. You got sub from David, and I hope you will enjoy the community and the emotes. I fell asleep to Twitch last night and my phone ran out of battery. My alarm didn't wake me up. Oh no! Miss Malamut. And Neuropilot, thank you for giving us up to Insomniac. Thanks a lot, guys. Such massive support. Should be sleep vision Twitch up if you're not active or if your phone can hear you snorting. To turn it off. That would be cool, actually. Timer. Oh, timer. It's so boring. Let's make something for hearing your sleepy breathing. Snore detector. Exactly. So, okay, guys. It will be funny to make the show second time on the stream because I feel like viewers are changing. Some people are leaving, some people are coming. I don't snore. It's you think so. Ask somebody who sleeps with you. Sorry. Just for being sure. I'm a quiet sleeper. Okay, okay, okay. I will believe you. So right now I'm going to prepare the light box. Talk in my sleep. Oh no! You can give up some secrets. Do not share secrets with tiny pachyderm. Somebody can hear it. I know I would hate to have to wipe it away. Maybe at first. And then you then you start to enjoy it. St. Petersburg pan is enough for me to follow. I know, right? I like puns. So preparing the light box for Sandart show. Thanks everyone who's following. I really appreciate that. Today it's the very first day when I perform Detective Whiskers Sandart show. It is raw, so maybe something will not turn out well, but I hope you will enjoy. And in the middle of the show, where there will be a part where I will need your interaction and your suggestions, okay? And take a look at the details. Ready.